Hi, Tabitha. It's April Biss. I decided to give you feedback through video. I think it's going to be a little easier to give you this feedback so that you are able to adjust this accordingly. So the first thing that I noticed is that your page numbers are not placed. So you want to make sure that you're placing your page numbers incorrectly by using the parent pages. You'll want to go to your pages panel. That would be under Window Pages. And you're going to click on the A parent page up here where the two little icons are. You're going to click on that to access your parent pages. And this is for, you would want to set your page numbers up this way so that they can be placed in anytime you add pages. They're going to, automatically number your pages chronologically as you have them in your page panel. So go ahead and double click on the left-hand side here. We're going to zoom in on the left bottom side. You're going to take your type tool and you're going to drag it down here. And it's up to you if you want to pull out a type tool or a tool, the body copy box, as long as your margins, that's fine. But go ahead and pull that out so that your number will be on the lower left-hand corner. And then you're going to go up to type, insert special character, and then you're going to go to markers and current page number. Okay, so draw your type box out, go up to type on your menu bar, go to insert special character, markers, and current page number. This is going to place an A in this spot, which is exactly what you want. I'm going to move it down just a little bit. That's exactly what you want. That little special character will eventually turn into a number once you go back to your regular pages. So I'm going to do the same over here and draw out a box. Type, insert special character, markers, current page number. The only difference between this side is we want this A to be on the right side because that's where the page number would be. So go ahead and highlight that with your type tool. Go up to Windows and choose Types and Tables, Paragraph. And we're going to right align that. Then just make sure that they're both on the same baseline grid. So I pulled this down a little bit. I'm just going to do the same thing here with this one. So you can snap to that. There we go. Perfect. So it should have an A on the lower right-hand corner of the right page, an A on the left-hand corner. Now you can always go in there and change the font of that A, by just going to character. Like say, for instance, you wanted to change this to Montserrat, bold, and let's make it smaller, like 10. I would do the same thing over here. Just giving you an idea of what things that you can do. Let's do, did I do 9 or 10? I think I did 10. Let's do 9. All right, and when you're done, go ahead and save and then click back into your pages and you'll notice that your pages will be numbered now. So if you go to page 2, for instance, and you scroll down to the very bottom left-hand corner, they're placed in correctly, not incorrectly. And then they're already numbered in there. So as you add pages, it will actually number each page that you create. So go ahead and just delete out that page number that you had on page 2. That's not the correct way to do it. Anytime that you want to edit that, you have to go back to your A parent pages to edit the actual special character. You can't do it on these pages. Okay. So go ahead and make those changes. Now I'm going to hide the baseline grid so I could just see this for a second. I would recommend really kind of adding more white space up here or more image space up here, just because it's getting very crowded with all of this information. There's really not, the spacing up here isn't quite working. It's not flowing, well. So we really want to make sure that that is happening. I would definitely go back. Let me see. We have some weird spacing in here too. Let's go ahead and delete some of these weird spaces in here. I'm not sure why there's a 1 here. You might want to check out if that's correct or not. go back to your copy. Okay, and then I'm going to pull this down. I'm going to pull this down. Now, at some point this week, you're going to have room for table of contents, so just be aware of that. I'm going to take the stroke off of this. Keep it simple. Let's see. For the picture. Same thing with this. You have a border on this. I think we'll just kind of go with 0 on that. And what we're going to do is we're going to make this the focal point up here. We're going to make this image bigger. Object fitting frame proportionately. And then we're going to send it back, arrange, send it back. That just allows everything that's behind it to come forward. For instance, you know, your type, this gray section area. Do we have anything else back here? Let me see here real quick. Okay, no, you don't. All righty. Oh, why that's, you must have this on a layer. Where's my layers at? Okay. There we go. I'm gonna pull this up.
And learn how AbbVie could help you save.
Oops.
You'll always remember buying your first car.
Sorry about that. I have my TV on mute here, and I guess it unmuted. Let's create a new layer. We're going to put this on the new layer. That's very strange. I don't know why that's not receding. All right, let's go ahead and, oh, I know why, because there's a text wrap on here, I think. Okay, let's go to the text wrap. Let's take that text wrap off, because what that's doing is that's not allowing your type to go over top of it. So let's just do that for now, because, you know, I kind of had you change the design of it. If this is, I would think of a name for your newsletter. Let's see, this is the subhead or the headline for this, right? And then this goes down here. I think that's kind of what this is. What I would do, I would just take this copy out of this box completely. It's too hard to see. And I would rearrange this so that it comes after the headline. I would definitely make this a little bigger. I would do like 14 and then do more spacing in between, maybe like 19, whatever. Let's see. We'll kind of play around with that. So this would be your headline and your subhead to your article. Now what you need to do is think about your newsletter title, because we don't have that in there. Let me pull this up to your guide. Okay, so maybe what we'll do, because this image goes with this article, let's go ahead and make this a little smaller. And we're going to put it more with this story. Let's make it a little smaller here. Pull all my copy down a little bit, or your copy down. Because what we need is we need a little masthead up here. And the masthead could be anything. It could even be an image if you want. It could be a block of color as well. Doesn't have to be anything crazy, just something that identifies the newsletter. And you're going to come up with some type of name for this. So let's see if I can come up with something quick here. I guess wait. And this would be the prominent name of the newsletter. Let me track this out a little bit. News, I spelled that wrong, newsletter. All right. So let's say you use this. I'm going to center this so it'll make sense to the overall balance. So go to your paragraph center, and I'm just making this very simple. This is the masthead. And then maybe this would be the table of contents once you kind of get that in there. Let's go ahead and pull that in. Let's make this just like a gray color because I feel like I'm not quite sure what this is going to be yet, but this will be kind of a nice little placement for, where's my properties panel? Go to your properties panel. I'm going to make this a little opaque here. The opacity, I'm going to dial that down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and align this a little bit better so it goes with the article. There we go. So this would be the table of contents. This would be your article. I'm going to pull this down a little bit more. It's nice to get a little bit of space in between these elements here. Maybe even pull this down a little bit. And then we have something coming together here. There we go. Pull this down just a little bit. Perfect. All right, now, so we have a spot for your table of contents. We have your beginning of your article here. We have your masthead. So it's looking pretty good. Let's see what this looks like in preview mode. We could even bring this up a little bit. It seems like it's taking up a lot of room. That looks pretty good. All right, very simple. Now what we need to do is talk about the line length of your first paragraph here. I would break this up into maybe 3 columns to make it a little bit different than your text down here. It's just too long of a line length, making it hard to read. So go up to, select that text box, go up to type. And then I would choose, where is it here? No, it's not under that. It's under object. I'm sorry. Under object, you would go to text frame options. I always get that confused because you would think it would be under type. So object, text frame options, and where it says columns, so I'm going to set to 3 right here, number. And that's going to break it up into 3. Actually, you know what? Let me go back up there. I forgot you had 3 already. Let's do 2. That way it's different than below here. 2 is fine. And then for this, I would probably put like a really thin line. So go ahead and take your line tool, hold the shift key down. I would set it at like a 0.5, so it's thinner. And just have a nice little break between this copy and this copy. Just have that nice thin line. I might even go thinner because we want this to be a design element, nothing that really gets in the way of the copy. All right, and then what I would do is just kind of massage this so that it works for this area. And what I mean by that is, let me move this up a little bit. I see a little problem down here with how your text is breaking. So we just have to pull everything up just slightly to get that so it's not doing that. At least one more line of text. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so now we have a nice breakdown here. So it's all about massaging it, kind of how to make it look good in that area. And it's kind of playing around with your space here. Okay, so that would be your first page. This info will be placed in there later. And then your second page should emulate this to some degree. So maybe, you know, maybe adding an element in here to unify that would be nice. So for instance, what if we did, you know, what if we continued this line pattern over here? Let's go out of this preview mode. Okay, here's another thing. This, because we kind of messed with this copy, you could see this little red box at the end of your body copy box. That just is telling me that there's more copy that isn't showing here, and that should be linked to this text box, and it looks like it's not. So I'm going to delete that text box completely, and I'm going to do a new one. So just draw a new, completely new text box, just one. And then we're going to go click over here where that little red box is. We're going to click on this body copy box, click on that little red box one time, and then we're going to click on our new text box. And that's going to take whatever's missing that we can't see in this box, it's going to flow it into this box. So that's the correct way to do it. Let me zoom in here. And just get rid of any weird spaces. It should be, you should have consistent spacing throughout. I'm not quite sure what this is. This one, you might want to check to see if that is a typo. But, you know, because there's two subheads here, I'd have to look at the copy and see what's going on there. But, you know, I like what you have here. I would probably switch this so that this, and let's make this black maybe to match your front, would be on the left side instead of the right side. Oops. And let's go ahead and align these. So I like how you have that in there. Let's take the stroke off of each one of these and just make sure it's even in there. And then I would pull the text over here instead and just make sure that there's like a nice even amount of space in between here. It looks good. It looks like you have room anyway. So that looks pretty good. Now you're using 1, 2, 3, you're using 4 images here. I probably would maybe take one of these out. You need kind of a little bit more images for the other article. Remember, we're doing 2 articles. So you might kind of want to play around with that. You do have some space here to play around with. So, I mean, you could do something where, you know, maybe instead of kind of making it work in the space here, you have all of this space up here. Maybe what we're doing, maybe what we could do is kind of highlight this picture on the top here a little bit more. Let's take the stroke off of it. Oops, 0. Maybe we're just making this 2 columns. So go to object text frame options. Let's do 2 columns, click OK. And then, you know, maybe in this regard, what we would do is play around with the text and how it's working out here. Let's zoom in so we can see what's going on. Looks like there might be, I don't know, it looks like there should be another return somewhere here, like this is a very long paragraph. So just double check to see if this part is correct or not, because it looks like there should be another paragraph in there. And maybe what we could do is we're going to swap these images, because I think this one might look good down here and this one might look good up here. And you can actually bleed this off too. You don't have to have like a margin. You can actually have it up here and bleed this all off. Object, fitting, fill frame proportionately, if I can talk. And then this image would be set to be down here. Like I said, double check the copy there. I'm not quite sure what's happening. Set it back. And we're just going to put this right in this little space here. Make sure it aligns with everything. And then fix anything in type, like for instance, see how this break is with the ED period. We want to fix that. So, because that's a widow and a bad break. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this rag and say, is there anything that can be soft return down so that we're adding to it? Or can we mess around with the leading? So let's say -10 to get that to bump up. Let's try 5, because usually you don't want to do more than 5, but if it's getting close, let's try 7. Yeah, that's pretty good. As long as it doesn't look like it's crowded in there, you're good. Usually you don't want to go above, you don't want to go above 5. This looks like it needs to bump up a little bit based on your baseline grid. And then just align everything, all your imagery, everything in here perfectly. And like I said, just kind of check this subhead here. I'm not quite sure if that's working or not. Okay, so this is what it looks like if I turn all the stuff off. Oh, you know what? I need to pull this over to the right. There we go. Perfect. So we have this article continuing on into this article, and you could take this horizontal line. I kind of forgot about this, and implement this in here as well. Like, let's say I just copied and pasted it in here. Maybe it's between the image here and your copy, just like a duplicating repetitive image here. Let me pull this down a little bit, or element that you're using for the beginning of your article. It's just a simple thing to add. You can also add color that would unify things. So like, say if this is too boring for you, maybe you wanted to add some color. Let's do some like red. And let's take the stroke off. I would just make sure it's up here somewhere, maybe underneath this image here. That would tie it into the article on the second page. So it's a unifying element that ties that article in. So I know I'm reading that same article from page 1 to 2. Now you're going to start a completely different article for 3. So it should look a little different in regards to, those design elements, but the typeface for the body copy and the subhead should be the same as page 1 and 2. The only thing that you're doing is placing in the text for the second article and different imagery and design elements. All righty. I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions.